Welcome back to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week with me, your host, Leanne Johnston. And today I'm super excited because I've got not only one, but two guests joining me today on the mic. We are welcoming today Camilla and Machin from Volume. I'm sure you guys have heard of Volume before if you've been working in the media and affiliate industry, but I'm going to hand over the mic now to Camilla to say a quick hello. And then we'll invite Machin up to say hi too. And then we'll get started with what we're talking about today, which is media in today's modern world and modern age. So Camilla, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here and very excited about our conversation. I think it's the perfect timing to have it. My name is Camila. I'm managing director at Volume. I have been working in the ad tech industry for almost 9 years right now. And I have been moving a lot within the Volume company. I started in marketing. I moved through business development, partnerships, and right now to general management. I try to combine my experience in everything that I do. So marketing perspective, business developer perspective, and also a leader, which I hope helps me to balance different kind of needs. And there's Martin as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here and hopefully share some value and quality insights. My name is Marcin Komienga. I am with Volume for around 8 years, around a decade in MarTech. And my background is sales. I'm a hardcore salesperson and I love it. But now I'm more on business development side I'm also a part of Volume leadership team. And I'm responsible for iGaming project here and helping our team to grow in iGaming vertical.
Pleasure to have you both here. And it's a very interesting time to have you on the podcast because everything is changing all at once. AI is coming to the scene, LLM channels have come in and they've disrupted traditional SEO type partners. We see click traffic dropping. There's a whole conversation to be had around what's happening in the space right now. But I want to get into the heart of it because traditionally, SEO affiliates have been very, very important in iGaming over the past, I would say, 20 years that I've been in the industry. Review sites, comparison pages, bonus content, it's always been a reliable model for brands to kind of invest in and be a part of. So why are you seeing an increased interest in media buying as a diversification strategy for these brands right now? What fundamentally has changed? And I'm going to come to you first, Camilla.
Yeah, as you mentioned, uncertainty is everywhere. I mean, everything is changing. And up until not that long ago, you could have a working strategy that has been there for years. Maybe you did a little tweaks, but it was working for you. And it was possible to just rely on a single channel like SEO or maybe SEO affiliates, right? But right now, publishers, programs, and operators who built all their businesses only on SEO are losing visibility, right? Because in the era of AI-driven search, there's not that much space for organic pages. There are also Google's AI overviews that are taking a lot of traffic from businesses. So they're looking for other options, right? Like, how can I still keep my acquisition going? And I feel that with AI, it's not only the fall of the organic traffic. AI tools are changing how we work every day. And they're changing the status quo. So I guess it's diversify or disappear, right? I mean, if you're not going to have different channels for your acquisition, one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a week, maybe in a year, it's gonna happen that it's not working for you anymore, and you're gonna be in big trouble. This is why operators, companies, they're looking for diversified acquisition channels, and one of them, especially in iGaming, is media buying.
Though add a little bit, maybe a historical context. I'm a historian from my education.
Love it. Yeah.
Helps. So, like, iGaming itself is pretty young, and it's changing. Affiliate marketing itself is pretty young. Especially after COVID, there were changes in customer patterns and behaviors. So, historical model, yes, it was like operator outsourcing user acquisition to affiliates who then focus on SEO. That was the old school, especially here in Europe, US as well. But the difference in terms of technology in online advertisement is huge nowadays. And
yeah,
I would rather say, like, imagine, I don't know, a box, which is iGaming, and there are two waves pushing it. So one is, of course, AI, which AI changed the customer behavior, like AI search. How many people now GPT things
Yeah. Even Google. Yeah.
don't instead of Googling it, right? So that's one thing, the pattern, which affects SEO. But the other is that the media buying space, which was present in different industries like e-commerce or even multi-vertical affiliation, it also discovered iGaming or is discovering, and there's more inventory, more networks. They open up. Meta opens up for iGaming. Google opens up for iGaming slowly, even the mainstream, right? Not to mention smaller networks. So that's the I think context, and that's why there's the right now
Yeah,
momentum.
there's like a race, almost a race to actually get into media. So let's
Yeah.
talk about what do brand operators typically get wrong before them and their team start with media buying. Because what I want to do is make this really educational for the people that are listening and give them some tactical tips. Because I think everybody's coming to the realization, okay, everything's changing and I need to change my tactics, and this is why. But how do I do that? So maybe, Camilla, if I come to you first, what are program managers or brand managers getting wrong when they start to look at diversifying into media?
Well, I would say that there are two things. So first one, they're afraid to spend money on media buying and on tests. I mean, they do expect results very fast because the media buying setup is completely different than SEO setup.
Okay.
The second one, they're expecting quick results. So they're going to launch a campaign and a few days later or a week later, they're going to look, okay, do I have conversions? And is this budget coming back to me? And it's really important if you're starting in media buying to start with controlled testing first, not be afraid to collect data, and then away from data, identify winning channels, and then you can think about scaling. Because if you're not going to collect enough data, you're always going to lose. You cannot, it's not just going come to you and one day you're going to wake up and, okay, this is the winning channel or this is the winning traffic source. You have to collect data.
Okay, Martin, anything to add there?
Yes, so I would even start from framing who is the decision maker in terms of operator, the company, brand. So sometimes it's not even affiliate manager, it's user acquisition specialist or acquisition specialist. And the thing is that if an operator relies on affiliates, they sometimes think, and this is what they might be getting wrong, that media buying is, let's say, challenging the affiliates, right? Or it's like an extra channel which might cannibalize it, which I believe it's wrong. I know it's wrong, because if you do it right, it's a synergy. So that's why you should even reframe or thinking in terms not of affiliates, like affiliate channel, but user acquisition channel, because there's more.
Okay. So practical setup and first step mistakes. What goes wrong in the first 30 to 60 days that people can learn from or be aware of so that they don't make these mistakes? So talk us through the first 30 to 60 days of setting up a media test campaign. What should people be doing?
Yeah, so I would say that one of the first mistake that they're making is that they don't have technical knowledge. They're not technical at all. I mean, if you want to start media buying, you need to configure your tracking, right? You need to know what UTMs are, how do they work, what type of redirections you may have, you need to understand how postbacks are working. How does the cookie behavior look like? So if you don't know how this is going to work, it will be very, very hard for you to set up the tracking and start running campaigns. And then secondly, they very often lack data analysis skills. So let's assume that you will be able to set up your tracking. You did it by yourself or someone helped you, but then you end up with lots of data and you need to have the skills to analyze the data, right? Working on cohorts, filtering, cross-checking data, all this, you have to be able to do it. Of course, right now it is getting easier. I know that we're going to get to it later, but with AI, it's the barrier is not that high, but you still have to at least be able to review AI's replies and be able to say, okay, this is a hallucination, or yes, the AI got it right. I don't have to spend 30 minutes in these reports because I have the information right away. But you still have to have these skills.
Yeah.
You need to be data driven. That's the mindset. That's the approach. And if I can add to this, like the main problem they have, or the main mistake they do, even on day zero before starting, is the conception. Because sometimes it's getting better, but a couple of years ago I was hearing on major iGaming shows this phrase like, "Oh, paid media, pop, push, whatever, native, it doesn't work," because they
Yes.
compare it with SEO. They need to
Yeah.
understand it's different. The funnel is different. The funnel is wider. I remember once I had a speech about it at Sigma conference, like with the visualization. So that's the first thing. So you cannot just place a link, build a product page, place a link, and that's all. No, it's just the beginning, and you need to optimize. So the principle is, especially for certain networks, like programmatic networks, there needs to be a test budget, test campaign, and then you optimize step by step, and you always optimize. There's never an endpoint because there are so many changes.
So there's a couple of things that I'm pulling out of that. First, you need to have a very clear parameter of what it is that you're doing the paid media for. What is that objective that you are trying to meet? And it could be brand awareness. It could be, further down the funnel, I want to reach those customers and actually get them to convert. It could be I'm launching a new product and I want people to know about it. So you need to come to media buying with a very clear understanding of what it is that you want paid media to do for you. Then you need to be able to understand and track it accurately, because it needs several iterations before it becomes successful. Just like any other campaign, even if you are working with a publisher or a content creator or whatever it is that you're doing, it's iteration after iteration, and that's what actually builds the success. You also need to understand data and analytics, because I guess you get an immense amount of data back within your platform when you're running a campaign. So you need to actually not get lost in the rabbit hole of looking at all of that data and trying to figure out, is this campaign actually working, and tracking back to that first metric that you needed it to deliver for your business. And when you talk to clients, like, do clients come to you with an understanding of what they want, or do they just come to you and say, I want more sales? And that's actually not deep enough, right? Because if you're talking about how to actually build and maintain a campaign in media, it's iteration after iteration. So you almost like A/B testing all the time, and it never really ends until you hit the metric that works for you, and then you double down on that. Is that the kind of flow that you see clients doing, successful clients doing?
Yes, exactly. Because when you look at these two funnels, when you look at the SEO and paid ads, so the audience you get through SEO, it's more engaged, right? The funnel is it's more narrow, and then they're keener to sign up or do a FTD fast, right? But there aren't that many of them because the funnel is now narrow. With paid ads, on the other hand, it's infinite, right? I mean, it depends on the sources and geos you're going to choose, but it's much wider, it's much longer. So the potential player or any type of client that you want to acquire needs more time to convert, but there's so many of them. It's quite amazing. It's this case of a pie, right? I mean, why try for a bigger piece of pie when you can get an entirely different piece of cake? And this is exactly what media buying is offering.
Because the other thing is my next question to you guys was, do you see any particular type of traffic being more successful than other types? Because you mentioned pops, push, native. Does a client need to actually know exactly what kind of traffic sources they're going to go after first in that initial test phase? Or should they be testing everything with the budget that they have available and then narrowing down from there? Because that can also be a mistake that people make at the start, is that they try and spread their available test budget far too thin across multiple sources. And some of those sources might not even be meeting the KPI metric that they need to start out to win. So they almost like diversify their chance of success because they're spreading their budget too thin. Does that happen sometimes in the first 90 days of a campaign launching?
Yes, a lot of topics here to cover, but maybe to short. Yes, there is a problem to going too deep and spreading out the budgets. That's why we recommend some testing budget, solid testing budget, depending on the channel, not too small. Because if you start small, you won't get the volume to optimize.
So what's a good budget? Like, what's small, what's big?
Depends and here we come to the second part. It depends, because there are different channels. Let's say programmatic is different. Like there's native ads, pop, push, banner display, adult traffic as well, but there's also paid search, paid social, and even more coming in, right? So it all depends. There's like quality or quantity ladder, let's say, right? But all of them are good. And it's all about break even, because sometimes many people prefer, especially if they're not so deep into this topic, oh, I want traffic from Google Ads, right? Or Google is better, like Google Ads is the best overall. Yes, but sometimes especially in tier 1, CPC is crazy, few hundred USD. So CPA, right? Few hundred USDs. So on the other hand, you can have super cheap traffic, optimize it deeper, and it all goes down to ROI. That's the case, right? So it all depends on your product, on your exposure on gray market versus regulated market, etc.
But also, I guess it would be, really wise to understand where the paid media testing that you're going to apportion budget to supports the rest of the marketing that you're doing, because you might not need to be in native if you've got a really strong paid media team internally that's doing brand awareness. Like, you might want to go into other channels outside of paid Google, for example, because maybe your affiliate program is already kind of heavily invested in partners that are working there. So I guess the thing here is, you need to niche down and figure out where does the paid media testing budget that you're going to invest in the first 90 days, where is that going to support all of the other marketing channels that you're doing? And then also niche down into the traffic sources that you really want to go after that your other channels aren't already touching. So plug the gap instead of trying to cannibalize it by looking at new traffic sources in the same spaces, which then drives price up, I would imagine, especially in programmatic. So one thing I hear affiliate programs worry about a lot is that they're interested in bringing media buying affiliates into their program, but they're also nervous about how it impacts their own initiatives. So can you talk us through how you handle those conversations with the clients that, raise this concern with you? What's some of the advice that you can give about that?
Yes. So I would say it's more a managerial problem.
Okay. So it's a people problem.
We all are people. Business is done by people. Everything. Customers are people. Everywhere are people. But if we are a legacy brand, we always did the business in the old way, right? We do it. This is how we do. This is problem everywhere, like in every type of companies. So the change always hurts, and change is a problematic thing. And that's why there are many reasons why to stay in your comfort zone. But we have proven cases when there's a synergy of channels. So, and it's not very hard, even if you add pop ads or some, let's say, pop or display traffic for user acquisition perspective, so not for branding, but for purely user acquisition, but you still rely on affiliates. This user acquisition, even if the conversion rates are not great, but you still make break even, the brand result, because it's a massive traffic, massive exposure, the brand result unintentionally is huge. So your affiliates have easier to convert, and it's easier for you to get good affiliates because affiliates these days want to prefer brands who are well known. So there's a huge synergy on that, and you can partially measure it. We come to qualitative and quantitative research topic, but this is the top. This is one of the, let's say, arguments, right?
Well, there was some research, and the only reason why I remember this is because literally I spoke about it this week in a meeting with another client, but there is some research that proves, especially here in the UK, through the APMA, they record data through networks, multiple networks, that there is a massive halo effect of how paid media and affiliate works together in order to increase brand. And I think it was something, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll try and find the research, but it was something like 18 to 23% uplift when you are leveraging paid and affiliate together, which isn't actually trackable anywhere because it doesn't belong in any one channel. So exactly what you've said, that synergy actually exists without us actually tracking it back to the revenue money that's being spent. But it has been proven not only in gaming, but in other industries too. There's a natural halo effect that happens. And like you said, I mean, affiliates do want to know that there's a brand out there spending money and not only relying on one channel to receive all of their players. So that brand exposure exponentially invites more partners in, which then exponentially increases your acquisition through the performance channel. So you need to think about your budget more holistically now, because the channels are not segmented like they used to be in the last 15 years. They are amalgamating and getting more and more. And if you're watching the video, you can see me putting my hands together, but like it's all intertwining and there is no separation anymore. So It's really about getting very clear about what your test media budget needs to do for you, and at the point, which point in the funnel it needs to be kind of filtered in. Now, why would they need? Why do these affiliate programs that are running, in networks have their own tracking solutions for affiliates? Why would they need their media buying partners to use something like Volume? Like, explain exactly where you guys plug into that mix now to help, provide this data so they can optimize their campaigns.
Yeah, I can take this one. So if you have an affiliate tracking, it does tell you what happened, right? That's someone converted, right? But it doesn't really give you an answer why it happens, right? So where the drop-off happened, which creative drove the click, or which source was the best one, and you should really focus on it. How did it happen? And if you work with volumes, if you work with a lot of traffic, media buying or affiliate traffic, you need to know why things are happening to find the winning models. So this is where Volume comes in. Volume helps you with this multi-channel approach, and it allows you to really find the winning combinations of creatives, headlines, landing pages, and offers. And then it allows you to optimize them like crazy and just push as much traffic as you can to the winning ones. And just make sure that your budget is not wasted to those that are not performing.
So do you find a lot of clients actually use their media budget to optimize the campaigns that they push out to affiliates when they know that they work? Because that's what I would be doing with Volume. I'd be using the data in there to actually then replicate what's working and push it out into other channels to get better ROI and better conversion. Well, is that just me because I've got 25 years experience?
Depends, because sometimes, especially with big operators, there are silos.
Okay.
There are different departments that don't really integrate with each other. So that's the ideal scenario. But from ideal scenario, like, we are not there yet. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it should be promoted. But the challenge sometimes is, even for all channels, for affiliate channel and for media buying channel, for user acquisition channel is iGaming, they focus on acquisition, not on LTV. So there is a gap between retention and acquisition. Now I saw a couple of our big clients, they realized this gap and they try to link this data. But usually the silo, right? Retention team, acquisition team. So even that, and then synchronize the channels, it's another thing. So the industry requires much more tech integration.
I remember my first IGB in London a few years ago. And when I spoke to operators, they were telling me that media buying doesn't work for iGaming, or that it's not possible because of the regulations, or that it's super expensive because they spent 10K once and it didn't work, so it means it's not working. So I also feel that the reason why iGaming is so huge right now, why it's gaining traction in the affiliate marketing space as well. So you can see iGaming talks at Affiliate World, for example, which didn't happen in the past, is because iGaming is slowly catching up. And this media buying opportunity has emerged not that long ago. And there's so much space here for agencies, for affiliates, for service providers like us that can really use the gap that was there and offer great value to operators.
Yes, and that's like, we were shocked because our Volume background is multi-vertical affiliation. So Affiliate World, Affiliate Summit, these events, so we were huge there, and we still are. And when I was at this first iGaming conference, my first iGaming conference, IGB pre-COVID, 2020 it was, I think, I was shocked because the biggest players, even in terms of technology, affiliate platforms, they missed up pixels with post bugs, and there was no idea what's that, and we couldn't believe it. Clients which I have from outside of iGaming, it's hard for me to convince them that post bugs are new to iGaming.
It is. It's always been last click, and nobody's ever spoken about anything else. But now the internet has actually forced them to catch up, because consumers are changing the way that they discover, search, find information.
Many reasons for that, but that also makes sense for me, because if you are an SEO-based affiliate or operator, you don't need such a real-time accurate data, because you build a product and then the link is there, right? And you optimize only the product experience. If you are on media buying, you need to decide what's working well and what's working not, like in real time. So that's the thing. But let me maybe link to this question. So why do you need a specific media buying platform if you have affiliate tool like Income Access, NetRefer, My Affiliates, or whichever? So we have features that they don't, and they have features we don't. We are different tools. So these features are deep optimization, integrations, API integrations with network, automatic rules. I could name the features, but it's not about that. Maybe let's take a metaphor of having, I don't know, a car and a motorcycle. I own both. And there's purpose for having them.
So AI is obviously now everywhere in our industry and in our conversations at the moment. And we said we were going to get into it. And I think we're at the point in this episode where we do. When you're talking to media buyers who are actually sitting at the keyboard and managing campaigns every day, what AI tools are making a real difference for them right now? And what should people understand about how their media buying partners are working?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, I would say that there's a few things. So firstly, because of AI, there's less organic traffic, and there's less traffic in general, right? So the ads, the conversions, the visits, they cost more, and you have to compete with more players to get these people to click on your ads. And because of that, it means that it will be even harder or more time consuming to optimize your find and to optimize your ads and find winning combos. And then AI comes in, right? So you can either have an AI built inside your platform, or you can have a MCP connection. And so this is something that we are working on right now, and we will be launching beta next week. And we're extremely excited about it, because this is what people want and this is what people need. They want to use AI tools. They want to be more efficient. They want to spend less time on manual optimization. And this is exactly what AI is offering to media buyers. So instead of opening your laptop at 6 a.m., opening the dashboard, filtering campaigns, then changing date range to 7 days, and then compare to the last 7 days, and then sort by the percentage of change, and then export it to CSV, and so on and so on. You could just tell your agent, hey, please prepare me the report for the last week, and then compare them to the last 8 weeks. Tell me the best 50 campaigns by spend, la, 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 la. It's really amazing what you can do with AI right now. Instead of spending hours on manual job every day, or instead of hiring a junior media buyer that will give you the basic info, you can get it within seconds or minutes with AI. So from our perspective, it's mostly an opportunity for media buyers. But at the same time, we do expect that because the barrier is going to be much lower to enter the media buying, there's going to be more media buyers, more ads, and then again, it's going to be harder to compete for this traffic, and paid advertising may get more expensive.
I was going to say, it's obviously going to drive up costs. So if you're listening to this podcast, you might want to get in and start testing your paid media budget before the CPCs or CPAs or whatever you're paying on gets too expensive, because it can make you more efficient as well. So if you're saving 4, 5, 6 hours a week, that's almost an extra day's worth of work that you get to go find new traffic sources to test and implement, and or create more creatives to test and implement and get more efficient.
Like, many things could change with AI, because it's like, in terms of technology adoption, there might be many roads yet, but I believe it will be there sooner or later. And I feel that it might change the role of media buyer. So he won't be a media buyer. He will be media planner, media strategist. Maybe even the role, the job description will change soon. So as you said, it will be more time for discovering new options, for connecting with people. So maybe people skills, human skills, right? Manager integrational skills. So I believe AI will do the, let's say, robotic work or mathematical work, data work, but the humans are about to make decisions and connections and directions, right?
What about using AI especially, in iGaming? Obviously, it's a highly regulated industry, but for regulation and compliance, because that's always another thing that, CMOs speak to me about in terms of, how do we protect the brand? How do we protect the, content that's being put out there by creators? Is there a way to actually do that kind of like fraud and compliance monitoring using AI tools now as well? So you can manage what gets put out there?
Yeah, that's MCP precisely. Because if you have a built-in AI inside your platform, let's say you're using, I don't know, some kind of service provider, and they have built AI. You have to see what kind of regulations they have. Do they have terms and conditions? What kind of data they're sending? It's risky. But then if you connect yourself through MCP, you can choose which AI agent you want to work with. Is it Claude? Is it ChatGPT? Maybe it's Perplexity. You may have a company account on Claude that has higher regulations. The team might know how to use it. It really allows you to minimize the risks connected to AI. And this is also something that we have found when we spoke to our clients and their needs in terms of AI. So like Martin said, that's the first one. They still want to be decision makers because they're the ones that are responsible for the budgets. Their boss is going to come to them and ask them, hey, why did you waste 50,000 K? They're not going to ask AI, right? That's one thing. But the second one is they still want to do it without a high risk. They want to do it in a safe and a secure environment. And this is why the MCP connection really allows them to do it in a safer way.
Yeah.
And regarding this compliance aspects, for sure AI will help to filter what's happening in terms of brand protection, but there's one thing that needs to happen first. We need to have attribution or at least click ID tracking. So we need to be able to link a click with the result. And that's why the postbacks are so powerful. And that's why I convince every operator to have it for brand protection. Let me give you an example. We really had this case a couple of months ago with one of our clients, great client, one of the biggest affiliate companies, public company, not to mention them. They had this case that an operator they work with, he asked them for some compliance issues. They were able in a moment to find out a particular campaign, ad ID, traffic source, and then to check and then to contact it and then to protect their reputation and relationship because it's trackable and traceable.
That's amazing. All right, I want to move into some real world examples because we've been talking about how wonderful media buying is and how you should be kind of approaching it in your business if you're starting out and you want to, explore how this can help you. Can you walk us through a specific situation where a brand, a program, a manager really benefited from adding media buying within their kind of like acquisition mix? Have you got any case, like a real success story that you can share with us right now?
Yes, we do. We have worked with, and we are working with many operators. Maybe I'll start from this side of the market. So in most cases, it's not that one day they wake up and they say, okay, I want to have media buying, and they hire people and then they just start and it's working, right? It does take time before you're really going to scale it. But there are some exceptions from this rule. And there are operators, I mean, we did have one, we still have them. They were just running their traffic through affiliates and through SEO. So like for many iGaming operators, that was the core part of their business. But they decided that they would like to have another pie, maybe try something else. It was a few years back. So this is why I decided to bring up this example, because this happened at the times when media buying wasn't a thing in iGaming. They started to work with us. They hired a media buyer who was she was actually an experienced media buyer. We did connect them to our traffic partners from Popular Ads, from Adstera, from different push and pop sources. And one by one, month by month, slowly they started to send traffic to their campaigns. They set up everything on the volume side. And after a few months, the results were really amazing because their conversion rate grew by 30%.
Wow.
30%.
That's significant.
Yeah, we were even surprised that you can get to such results. And what they told us is that they saved around 9 hours of the work every week that they had to put into getting the traffic and getting the conversions. So that was quite amazing. And
it's one whole working day a week. I mean, that's like hiring an extra person.
Yeah, I know. And then just this. We're still working with them. It's been a few years ago, right, Martin? It's been a while, but they're still a client. They have grown significantly since then, but they're still running paid advertising, and they are diversifying, not only relying on SEO.
So has that, I mean, you don't have to say the brand, but have they changed the way that they think about their acquisition budget now? Because coming from the traditional kind of paid and SEO and affiliates, so content, really heavy content and kind of review and CPA, revenue share, whatever they were paying, and diversifying into multiple other channels on a paid basis, because I'm sure they must be doing lots of different types of commercial metrics now after so many years of testing. Has that business fundamentally changed the way that they think about their acquisition budget as a whole, or are they still kind of siloing it into the 3 channels? Because I would imagine that all of that learning, they've probably like reviewed how they view acquisition as a whole.
So in their case, they changed the approach, but not completely, because because of the nature of their business, and they are well known. Even at IJB, they are quite well known. They are very strong in relationships. So they still have, and the nature of their business is that affiliates are still very important for them. So they should build a stable extra channel, is complementary, which is just in case, like if there's a problem with affiliates, we can scale it. So we are flexible, but that's their only model, right? They didn't shift in that particular case. They just added another, let's say, pie, which they can taste whenever they have
2 pies is better than 1.
Exactly. And one is sour, another sweet.
Yeah, but the other thing that's interesting is that there was no cannibalization. They've actually grown their business by 30%, not by cannibalizing what they were doing in any of the other channels that they already had established. So I think that's quite interesting.
It's easier for them to convince new affiliates. Like they've got a lot of established partners, but it's easier for them to convince new affiliates because of the awareness.
All right, so let's do a quick rapid fun fire, which is where I throw you 5 questions and you guys give me your shoot from the hip answer. So let's go. The one metric every program manager should be looking at before they're signing a media buying affiliate.
Conversion rates. That's my answer. That's my answer. Should I go quick? Is that the idea?
Very quick. Okay, next one for you, Marcin. Your honest take is AI going to replace media buyers or make them significantly better at their jobs?
It won't replace, it will change their role, media strategist, media planner. More happy human beings, not clickers.
Yeah. Okay. The biggest mistake you see affiliate programs or brands make when they go to scale media partnerships too fast?
Not looking at LTV, but focusing on vanity metrics.
Yeah. And I would say scaling relationships before they scale and build infrastructure.
Love it. Last one. If you could change anything or one thing about how affiliate programs think about media buying right now, what would that be?
We're not competitors. We can work together and achieve more together.
User acquisition instead of affiliate channel.
Love it. So stop putting a label on it and just think about acquisition as a whole.
No silos. Let's be together. One beautiful word.
And a great conversation I had with one of the leading conference provider, like conference teams. Why do they have affiliate in the name, like Affiliate Leader Summit? And I told them, no, you should rephrase them, because for us, our affiliates is the wrong term. We are User Acquisition Leader Summit or traffic, because affiliates are not the only, or even maybe not the major traffic channel. And I just came back from Asia, from Sigma Asia, and there affiliates are very unknown. Networks and paid media are the key for them. So there are also, let's say, global differences, like regional differences around the world.
Well, there you go. I mean, even that's changing, So we know the internet's changing here in Europe, but from around the world, you're seeing lots of change as well. So I think that's, kind of like a good news story to close this episode on, is that, yes, there is a lot of changes. Yes, you are going to need to test, and you're going to have to reiterate and think about how you think about user acquisition. And no, you don't need to worry about media buying, cannibalizing anything else, because as you've already explained in the case study that we shared, a 30% increase is nothing to be sniffed at. So thank you so much for both being on this podcast with me today. It's been lovely having you on and really delving deep into how media buying is changing the face of acquisition. Let's just leave it at that. So it's been a pleasure to have you here on this podcast with me.
Thank you, Leon. The pleasure was ours.
And if anyone has a question or would like to discuss it, feel free to approach us on LinkedIn. We are pretty active. Let's have a chat. Maybe we are wrong in some perspectives, so feel free to challenge us.
Fabulous. Great to have you guys here. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.